Imagine a world where only one man survived for every 17 women. A world so violent, so brutal, that 95% of all males were wiped from existence. This isn't science fiction. This actually happened. And the evidence is written in your DNA. Around 7,000 years ago, something catastrophic occurred. A conflict so devastating that it nearly erased the male population from the face of the earth. Yet somehow, this prehistoric apocalypse has been almost completely forgotten by history. Today, we are uncovering the truth about humanity's darkest chapter, the Neolithic bottleneck. The story begins not in ancient ruins or battlefield excavations, but in a genetics laboratory at Stanford University in 2015. Scientists were studying something called the Y-chromosome, which passes from father to son virtually unchanged. By analyzing genetic variations in modern populations, they could trace male lineages back through thousands of years, creating a genetic family tree of humanity. What they discovered was shocking. Around 5,000 to 7,000 years ago, the genetic diversity of human males suddenly collapsed. The data showed that for every one man who successfully reproduced, there were 17 women. Put another way, 95% of men left no genetic legacy. They had no sons who survived to reproduce. They vanished from the human story. This wasn't a natural disaster. Earthquakes don't target men. Neither do diseases or climate events. The pattern pointed to only one explanation: systematic, widespread violence on an unprecedented scale. But here's what makes this even more mysterious. Women's genetic diversity remained relatively stable during the same period. Whatever was happening, it was specifically killing men. To understand what happened, we need to travel back to the world before the collapse. 10,000 years ago, humans made the most important discovery in our history: agriculture. For the first time, we could settle in one place, grow food, and accumulate resources. Villages became towns. Towns became cities. And with cities came something humanity had never experienced before: inequality. For hundreds of thousands of years as hunter-gatherers, humans lived in small, relatively equal bands. Everyone owned what they could carry. But agriculture changed everything. Now you could own land. You could store surplus grain. You could accumulate wealth and pass it on to your children. And most importantly, you could defend that wealth with organized violence. The stage was set for the deadliest conflict in human prehistory. The latest research suggests this wasn't a single war, but rather an era of relentless, brutal warfare between patrilineal clans, extended family groups that traced descent through the male line. These weren't nations or empires fighting. These were tightly knit groups of related men, fighting to control resources, territory, and access to women. When one clan attacked another, they didn't just want victory. They wanted elimination. The pattern was devastating. Invading clans would kill all the men and boys of rival groups, then absorb the women into their own populations. This explains the genetic puzzle perfectly. Men from defeated clans left no descendants. Women from those same clans continued to reproduce, just with men from the conquering group. Archaeological evidence supports this horrific scenario. Mass graves from this period show disproportionate numbers of young males with violent trauma. Fortified settlements appear suddenly across Europe, Asia, and Africa. Weapons become more sophisticated and deadly. The peaceful Neolithic was over. But why? What could drive humanity to such extreme violence? The answer lies in a toxic combination of factors that all emerged at once. Population pressure. Agriculture allowed populations to explode. More people meant more competition for the best farmland. Resource scarcity. Early farming was fragile. One bad harvest could mean starvation. Groups fought desperately for the most productive land. Patrilineal inheritance. When property passed from father to son, it created powerful incentives to eliminate rival male lineages entirely. If you left enemy men alive, they'd return to reclaim their land. Technological advantage. New weapons like copper axes and organized warfare tactics made it possible to completely destroy rival groups in ways that simply weren't possible in the Stone Age. Honor cultures. In clan-based societies, revenge and reputation became everything. A single killing could trigger generations of blood feuds. It was the perfect storm for genocide. Let's put the scale of this catastrophe in perspective. 95% male mortality means that if you went back to one of these prehistoric villages of 200 people, only about 5 men would successfully father children. The other 95 men would die in raids, ambushes, or open battles before reproducing. This went on for potentially 2,000 years across most of the inhabited world. Entire male lineages, families that had survived since the dawn of humanity, were completely wiped out in a single generation. The genetic bottleneck was so severe that it actually reduced human diversity more dramatically than most near-extinction events in other species. We came closer to losing our genetic diversity during the Neolithic than we did during the eruption of the Toba supervolcano 74,000 years ago, which nearly ended our species entirely. So what stopped it? How did humanity pull back from the brink? The answer appears to be the rise of larger social structures. As populations continued to grow, some groups began to develop more complex hierarchies, chiefdoms, and eventually, early states. These larger political units had powerful incentives to stop the clan warfare. Endless blood feuds were economically destructive. They prevented trade, disrupted farming, and wasted human resources. New social technologies emerged. Formal laws replacing blood vengeance, professional warriors replacing every man being a fighter, diplomatic marriages between groups, and religious institutions that preached peace within the community while directing violence outward toward others. The clan-based world gradually gave way to kingdoms and empires. Violence didn't disappear. It was organized and redirected. Instead of every clan fighting every other clan, states monopolized violence and channeled it into wars of conquest against distant enemies. The genetic data shows male diversity slowly recovering after 5,000 years ago, as this new world order took hold. The shadows of this prehistoric war still linger in human society today. Our male-dominated social structures, our capacity for tribalism and violence, our instinctive distrust of outsiders, these may all be echoes of the Neolithic bottleneck. For 2,000 years, the most successful men were those who could organize violence and eliminate rivals. Some researchers suggest this period created powerful selection pressures that shaped human psychology. Traits like aggression, loyalty to the in-group, and willingness to fight for resources became highly advantageous for survival. Even our languages may bear traces of this era. Many of the world's most widespread language families, like Indo-European, Sino-Tibetan, and Bantu, expanded during or shortly after this period, possibly spread by the very clans who won these prehistoric wars. The Forgotten War wasn't fought with nations or ideologies. It was fought clan against clan, brother against brother, over land, resources, and survival in a rapidly changing world. 95% of men lost everything. Their names, their descendants, their place in history, all erased. The only trace they left behind is a haunting silence in our genetic code. But perhaps the most important lesson isn't about the violence itself. It's about what came after. Somehow, humanity found a way to move beyond endless blood feuds. We built larger communities, established laws, and created societies where your survival didn't depend on your clan destroying everyone else's. The Neolithic bottleneck reminds us that our worst impulses can be channeled, controlled, and ultimately overcome. We've done it before. Let's hope we remember that lesson, because the alternative is written in our genes. This has been the story of the forgotten war that killed 95% of all men. Subscribe for more hidden history.